Today's video has been sponsored by Helix Sleep. Why do I always look in the tissue after I blow my nose? So disgusting. But how's it going, my peeps? Welcome back to the channel. Isn't it just so typical that I took 2 months off and I was perfectly fine and healthy? The second I try to come back, I am deathly ill. I think there's something going around. A bunch of my friends are sick too. Let me know if you've been dealing with anything in the past week or so. But as a result, I wanted to find a couple recipes this week that were relatively easy, maybe a borderline hack, if you will, but were still incredibly mesmerizing, delicious looking, very eye-catching. So I went on over to Instagram, where plenty of their recipes often fit that description. I took a few of your suggestions, and I came up with this one ingredient fruit sorbet, a absolutely delicious looking one-pot slow cooker chorizo mac and cheese. And then for dessert, we're gonna make a blender orange cake. This is one of those videos where all of the recipes look like they have the potential to be life-changing and an equal potential to fall flat on their face. Either way, we're gonna give them our best sickly go today, and let's get right into this one. Even though I was very sad to miss you guys again last week, and really through the entirety of my break, I had a very productive stretch. I was focusing on my relationships, my mental health, definitely resting and recharging the batteries, and it is a great thing that I had the world's best mattress to rest up on, thanks to my friends over at Helix Sleep. Helix makes premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to fit your needs and are shipped directly to your door. Helix knows that everybody's got an individual body type and sleep preference, so they developed a sleep quiz to help match you up with something from their unique lineup of 20 mattress offerings. From their award-winning Luxe mattresses to the Helix Plus and even the Helix Kids, you cannot go wrong with any of these. I've lost count of how many years it's been since I myself took their sleep quiz, and because I'm a back sleeper and I like a medium to firm mattress, they hooked me up with this beauty, and it has just been years of unmatched pure sleeping bliss. If you sleep with a partner, you can take the quiz together and find something that's the perfect compromise for the both of you. And still, my favorite part about Helix is that anywhere in the US, you can get your mattress delivered right to your door for free. It comes rolled up in a box. It was incredibly easy to set up for myself. And unlike other brands, Helix mattresses don't contain any fiberglass, which could potentially be harmful to your health. And if it makes you nervous to buy something you haven't tried yet, Helix offers a 100-night sleep trial, meaning you have over 3 months to make sure you love your mattress. And of course, they still offer their 10-year warranty, financing options, and a flexible payment plan, so a great night's sleep is never that far away. So click that link in the top line of the description to visit helixsleep.com/David Seymour, because you can get 20% off of your mattress plus 2 free pillows. First up today is a recipe that has been sent to me countless times, and I'm thinking it's gonna be up there with some of the easiest recipes I've ever done in my life. It's this one ingredient tangerine sorbet, and to make it, I grabbed some mandarins. For whatever reason, I could not find tangerines at my local grocery stores, but these are similarly sized, orangey citrus fruits with no seeds, so I'm thinking they'll prove the concept just fine. And in case you couldn't tell, based on the clips I've been showing you, the procedure is as follows. Peel and then segment your citrus, freeze it for a couple hours, and then food process it. According to Pamela in the video, this results in the most delicious and healthy sorbet-like dessert. It does look like a pretty good consistency, I will give her that, but in my opinion, this just looks like something an almond mom would make when their kid asks for ice cream, but they've already hit their yearly sugar quota. I was getting serious Nara Smith vibes with this, but I was following the instructions exactly, and everything was going well until I was food processing it. And this stuff really did not want to come together. It remained dry and crumbly for a very long time. I let this go in the machine until I got to somewhat of a comparable texture. I think I got a whiff of smoke by the end. But it looks okay. I love the color. I was able to scoop it, so let's give it a taste. We trusted the process, and by the looks of it, I think we got there in the end. Ooh. No. The first hit of this is excellent. A+. It's super cold and refreshing. It's light, it's very orangey, not too sweet. But as soon as the brunt of it melts away, you're just left with a mouthful of like pulpy orangey bits that did not get blended up fine enough. I suppose if you're expecting it, it's not horrific. The taste is still okay. Kind of just resembles a frozen, pulpy orange juice, but way less sweet. It's actually kind of towing the bitter line once everything melts and you're left with that pulpiness. It's a very interesting concept. I would be interested to try it out with other fruits, maybe in other types of blending vessels, but this, as it stands, not for me. Next up on the agenda today is another incredible appearing recipe. It is this somewhat healthy-ish chorizo one-pot mac and cheese. And to make that, you will need some milk and large shells, paprika and apple cider vinegar, oregano, ground beef, cheddar cheese powder and cottage cheese, a can of fire-roasted tomatoes and some red enchilada sauce, cumin, chipotle peppers in adobo sauce, and chorizo, low-fat, nasty cream and salt and pepper, a red and orange bell pepper, onion, garlic, some cheddar cheese, and fresh parsley. For whatever reason, I'm always getting these types of gym bro meal prep recipes on my specific feed. I don't know what that says about me. It's essentially a genre of recipes where they make things in bulk, usually with some healthy alternatives. In this case, rather than any kind of traditional cheese sauce, we have to blend together low-fat cottage cheese and cream cheese with some additional cheddar cheese powder and fresh shredded stuff. Most of the time they're using leaner proteins like chicken and turkey, but I will give it to them that they often look very good, this recipe included, and I included it in this video because it's really simple, and it all comes together in one pot. You dice up and then roast off your peppers and onions, and then add that into your slow cooker with both of your meats, the chipotle peppers and their sauce, the enchilada sauce, the fresh garlic, the vinegar, all those spices. I let that bubble away for about 2.5 hours on the high setting. I cooked the pasta shells to about 70% of their doneness, and then just blended up and dumped in the faux cheese sauce, that being the low-fat cottage cheese and cream cheese, lots of milk, some more of the enchilada sauce. This is a mixture I've never really seen before, but it smells good and it looks cheesy, so let's go with it. Without question, there will be additional testing and monitoring after this video for my own sake. That, of course, being how things go in the restroom later on tonight. I guess maybe I'll keep you posted, because as many of you know, any normal standard mac and cheese is more and more challenging for me as time goes on. But for how the appearance and the flavor and the texture fare, let's figure that stuff out right now. Visually, these are all delivering exactly as the Instagram's promise. Hopefully, this one's a slight bump up from the last one's flavor. This is really good. It's very filling and satisfying with the pasta and the proteins. It's got a really nice spice level. It's surprisingly creamy and rich for how that sauce comes together. I wouldn't really know what to call this or where he came up with this, which cuisine. It's kind of like a taco tasting stroganoff, American mac and cheese. I will say though, although it is cooked completely in one pot, you still have the same amount of dishes between the cutting boards, the blender and all its pieces. I would say that this is great for people who are looking for something a little bit healthier, just by the nature of it not having a ton of heavy cream and sticks of butter, or people who are scared of like making a cheese sauce with a roux. But it has its place for sure. I could see myself making this again because that flavor is very good. And lastly today, for our third and final dessert course, we've got something that I've heard of, I am slightly familiar with, but not necessarily in the way that this creator applies it. It's an orange blender cake, and to make it I grabbed some sugar and milk, all-purpose flour and vegetable oil, 1 orange, vanilla extract, baking powder, and 3 eggs. To begin, I wanted to thoroughly wash my orange, perhaps the best wash I've ever given a piece of fruit in my entire life, because rather than peeling this, as you would for 999 applications out of 1,000, we are going to keep this baby whole, dice it up, throw it in a blender with all the other ingredients I just listed, and bake it off. That's really the one big gimmick here. Whereas I've heard of blender cakes before, which is kind of a technique to limit your dirty dishes, so long as you don't overwork the flour in at the end, the batter should come out fine. I have never heard of throwing an entire giant orange in there with the rind and the pith and all of its bitter glory, blending that up right into all of our other ingredients, pouring it into a greased and parchment papered pan, and baking that off. If you're wondering, it was very much a coincidence that 2 of the 3 recipes today involve blending in orange fruit. I don't know why that happened. Let's just hope this one does not fall victim to the same issues the last one did, because that was quite unpleasant with all those gritty bits. But it looks like a cake batter, and it poured and smoothed over nice and easily. It baked up like a standard cake. It smells absolutely incredible. Like the greatest warm orange dessert you've ever smelled in your life. And with a healthy sprinkling of some powdered sugar, this thing looks just about there. So it's time to cross our fingers and give this guy a try. Incoming! Hold that pose. Don't move a muscle. And action! Nothing's ever changed. Once again, talk about delivering on appearance. Those videos are not deceptive at all. Look at the crumb on this thing, the beautiful browning around the outside. If I just handed this to anybody, I don't think that there's a single person who would guess this batter came out of a blender. Before I say anything, let me just back up and say, this is incredibly impressive. I don't know who started that. I don't know if it was the girl in the video, if this is a known thing out there. But to get something that just looks this good and smells even better by the procedure in which she does it is very impressive. That being said, it does have its share of issues, I think. It is moist, but it's moist in a sense of like almost gumminess. I don't know if I overworked the flour in the blender and it almost created a little gluten. And even though I thought it was cooked all the way through, the bottom 1/8 of this is very dense and gummy. Also, it's quite bitter. Maybe that could be improved and balanced out if it had an actual frosting, whether that's some kind of buttercream, royal icing. But just the cake itself is quite bitter. You could tell there's something weird going on. All throughout, there's very much an astringent flavor. Maybe it's because there was so much pith in the onion that in the orange that I used. Maybe there are certain oranges out there with a thinner rind and less of the white. Regardless, a very cool concept. I'm happy I tried it. I would revisit it one day and maybe tweak a couple things. Oh, if nothing else, just make this to smell it. It smells so incredible.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my A-team. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.